Empty your pockets. A few coins, a card, a phone that pays with a tap. Now wind the clock back, way back. For almost all of human history, none of this existed. No coins, no cash, no banks, not even the idea of a price. So picture it. You're hungry. You want bread. You have no money, because money isn't invented yet. So what did you use? The answer is stranger and cleverer than they just swapped stuff. Let's wander into it. Let's start with the obvious guess. Barter. You have fish. You want shoes. You find the shoemaker, you swap, everyone's happy. Simple, right? Here's the catch. For that to work, the shoemaker must want fish. Right now, today, exactly your fish. That almost never lines up. He wants grain. The grain farmer wants a pot. The potter wants nothing at all. So you stand there, holding a fish, watching it slowly go bad. Pure swapping isn't freedom. Swapping stuff is a nightmare. And that nightmare pushed people to get clever, in ways you'd never guess. So what was actually missing? Not goods. People had plenty to trade. What was missing was a middle thing, something everybody wanted, so you never got stuck holding a rotting fish. Something you could take now and spend later. Something that meant value, even when nobody wanted your exact stuff. And here's the surprise. The first money wasn't metal at all. It was whatever a community already trusted and prized. And the very first candidate is one you can still milk. Meet the original fortune, the cow. In many ancient societies, cattle were wealth itself. A cow was a fortune. A herd made you rich. You could count them, trade them, pay a debt in them. In some places, a bride's family was paid in a careful number of cattle. Livestock was so tied to value that our word money carries the echo. The Latin for money, pecunia, comes straight from pecus, their word for cattle. But cattle have a problem. You can't make change for a cow. You can't hand over a third of a cow and keep the rest walking. So people needed something they could split. And they found it in a very dark place. Here's a part we forget. Long before coins, people were already counting debt. Who owed what, to whom, and by when? In the earliest cities, scribes pressed those debts into clay. Whole tablets of "you owe me," kept like an ancient ledger. Value got measured in fixed weights of grain or of silver by weight, so promises had a size. And in the harshest version, you didn't pay with things at all. You could be the payment. People fell into debt bondage. A person's labor, a person's freedom weighed on the same scale as barley. Money didn't just buy dinner, it could buy a life. So how do you carry a promise like that around? You carve it. Here's a beautifully simple fix. The tally stick. Take a stick of wood, cut notches into it, 1 notch per unit owed. Then split the stick straight down the middle. Now there are 2 halves, and the notches line up only on that exact pair. You keep one half, I keep the other. Neither of us can cheat, because a faked half won't match the grain. A stick could hold a promise. For centuries, whole kingdoms ran their debts on notched pieces of wood. It was money as memory, a record of, I'll pay you back. But some things you wanted right now. Something everyone needed every single day. Now for something you sprinkle on fries. Salt. Today it's almost free, but for most of history, salt was survival. There was no fridge. Salt was how you saved meat, saved fish, kept a family alive through winter. Something that precious and that steady in value became a way to pay. Soldiers and workers in various places and times were partly paid in salt or its value. You've heard the phrase, worth its weight in salt, and a person worth their salt. The link is debated, but the idea is real. A thing everyone needs quietly becomes a kind of cash. And the next form of money literally washed up on a beach. Look what the tide brought in. Shells. Specifically, little cowrie shells. Smooth, hard to fake, and beautiful. For thousands of years, across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, cowries were money. They were small, so you could count them. Durable, so they didn't rot. And rare enough in the right places to hold real value. Shells crossed whole oceans along trade routes, passing through countless hands. For a huge share of humanity, money wasn't gold. It was a shell that once held a living thing. But if small and easy made shells work, What happens when money is the size of a car? Now this one sounds made up. On the island of Yap in the Pacific, people used stone money, giant carved discs with a hole in the middle. Some were small, some were enormous, taller than a person, too heavy to ever move. So here's the trick. When a huge stone changed owners, nobody rolled it anywhere. It just stayed put. Everyone simply agreed, out loud, that it now belonged to you. There's even a famous story of a giant stone that sank to the sea floor and still counted as yours, still spent, still real, though no one could ever see it again. Which points at the secret hiding under all of this. Money was never really the object. So where do coins finally come in? Surprisingly late. Only around 27 centuries ago, in a kingdom called Lydia, in what's now Turkey, someone did a clever thing. They took small lumps of metal, made them a standard weight, and stamped a mark on them. A guarantee. This is worth exactly this much. Suddenly you didn't weigh silver every single time. You didn't lead a cow to market. You didn't count out shells. You just handed over a coin. Small, countable, the same everywhere. A cow was a fortune, but you couldn't split it. The coin was a shortcut, value you could carry in a single hand. But the coin solved the wrong mystery. Here's the twist that ties it together. Look at everything we've seen. Cattle, salt, notched sticks, shells, a sunken stone, a stamped coin. They have almost nothing in common as objects. So what made them money? Just one thing. A whole group of people agreed they were worth something. That's it. That's the whole trick. Money is a shared story. Value doesn't live in the object. It lives in the belief. Which is why today, money barely exists at all. It's mostly numbers, glowing on a screen, moved by a tap. The coin melted into pure trust. We all agree to believe. And once you see that, the modern world looks a little different. So the next time you tap a card and a number quietly moves, hold that thought for a second. You're doing something humans took thousands of years to figure out. Your ancestors led cattle to market. They weighed out grain. They matched two halves of a stick. They counted shells and pointed at stones too heavy to lift. And somehow, it all worked because everyone chose to believe together. Money was never the coins, or the shells, or the cows. It was the agreement underneath. That's the quietly amazing thing about being human. We can look at a shell, a stone, a scrap of paper, and decide together that it means something. If you like wandering into strange old corners of the world like this one, stay a while. Subscribe to Whymsy and we'll go somewhere quietly stranger next time. See you then.